This 9-foot 5-weight fly rod is called DARTH VADER. Let me show you how I made this thing. I started out by pouring up the epoxy inlays for the handle. We're going for a black holographic kind of color here. And while those are drying, I'm adding the guides onto the rod blank. I file down each of the guide feet, align them on the rod, and start wrapping them on with thread. I've got 22 wraps total to make for the 10 guides plus the hook keep that's at the bottom of the rod. And this process can take a little bit of time. I've got this Alps Pro wrapper that definitely helps, but it is probably one of the more timely processes in making a fly rod. With the guides wrapped onto the rod, it's back to the handle, and here I'm just pressing all of the components together. So I'm squishing those epoxy resin inlays in between some cork, and then I add the whole thing to my squisher to dry. Once it's dried, I chuck it onto my lathe to give it its final shape. AJ also wanted a fighting butt for this rod, so of course I had to hook him up. Here's the final product, looking nice. And now, with all of those made, we can get to the final assembly of the rod. So I'm gluing that fighting butt on there, making sure that the spacing for the reel seat and the handle is dialed in perfectly. And I finish it up with a bit of epoxy over these labels. And here you go, AJ. This is the DARTH VADER. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it catches you a ton of fish.